Nice to finally meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So how's your day going?
Great, how's yours?
Going great. So where are you from?
I am from Georgia originally.
Really? I'm originally from Seattle and live in Georgia now.
That's crazy.
So Madison, thanks for joining me today for a cup of coffee. So how have you enjoyed the area? How long have you been here?
So I've been in Washington for about 4 years, primarily in Bremerton, but working over here in Seattle, and I enjoy it. The Pacific Northwest is gorgeous.
You've been in your role for how long now with Willis?
Just about 7 months.
I understand you were in the military. I was in the Air Force. What branch were you in?
I was in the Navy.
Fantastic. And what was your job?
I was a sonar tech on submarines.
Excellent, excellent. So we had a nickname for you guys, but you were a bubblehead then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you've heard that before.
We made a joke that there was more airplanes in the ocean than submarines in the sky.
Oh, so. Knocked back on the Air Force. That's a good one. Give me an idea of coming into the role. What was some of the support that you got from the team here to ensure your short success and just getting engaged?
There was training from all fronts, so not only from like my supervisors, but everyone on the team. There was no lack of knowledge. I feel like, yeah, it was great. So any question I had, there was someone there to answer it. Whether it be like system-based, company-based, even, you know, personally based. There was someone to help, yeah.
That's great. I know you've been with us for just over half of a year. And I'm sure you've in the office have seen people in different roles and different functions. What are one of the roles that you would say this early on has already started to appeal to you?
I definitely like the project management side of things. Yeah. Because I feel like that requires, of course, like critical thinking and so obviously you started on the front lines of Convergint and you also came from a veteran background such as myself, and now you're the Vice President of Inclusion and Diversity. How did you get from there to here? That's
a great question. I think without a doubt it was people who cared about my ability to move forward in the organization. And they cared to take the time to recognize talents that I had, and most importantly, they cared to pour into me and leverage those talents and amplify them, right? So what I've done in my career all along the way, from being a specialist to a project manager, to an operations manager, to a general manager, and running, regions of the country, was I simply just tore a page out of that playbook and did the same thing. One of the things that we tout about is the care that we have for our colleagues, and a lot of that is staying engaged, not only from a technical aptitude aspect, but even supporting outside of that. And you mentioned that. Give me some examples of some of the caring that you receive just outside of the normal day-to-day technical aspect and customer challenges and things.
This is going to sound funny at first, but it does mean a lot to me. So my cat got really sick a couple weeks ago, and I told my supervisor about it. I was panicking, worried about my little baby, and they of course let me take the day off to take him to the emergency room. And they didn't only do that, but they followed up and asked like, hey, is your cat okay? Like, it wasn't just like, yeah, whatever. It was, hey, you can definitely do this, we want you to. And
that's great.
Yeah, they were.
That's a great example, and like you said, you may laugh, but that's the kind of thing, because it's like, what's important to you should be important to me and others that are in the community of Convergent Nation or outside. So it's great to hear that. I don't know if you're aware of our pet insurance or if you took advantage of that for your cat. You did. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I feel like mental health is really, really important.
It is.
For everyone.
Yeah, it is.
And the more that a company cares about each individual aspect of someone's life, I think the better that is.
So any other questions for me specific to Convergint, maybe even on a more macro or global scale?
I feel like Convergint is definitely more of a career than a job.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of companies and businesses turn to tuition assistance for their colleagues, and I was wondering if that's something that Convergint is thinking about.
Absolutely. So we have an existing tuition assistance program in place, but to expand upon that, we've also put in place, actually through the inclusion and diversity space, we put in place a scholarship called the James Willis Scholarship. So there's funding available through that, and that can be scalable. depending upon the degree and the terms of the pursuit of education. You know, one of our values and beliefs is continuous development, and we are absolutely about investing in that. And where people are investing in themselves, we double down on that. And to your point, it's how, you know, Convergint can keep our culture intact, but most importantly, keep the talented folks that we have and enrich them with even more knowledge.
So do you have any advice for someone who's just starting out in this field or even considering joining this field?
Yeah, my advice would be, you know, aim high. And that's not just because I was in the Air Force, but no, aim high and set your goals high. And then look to partner with the right people in your career, because everybody's gonna be willing to help you get where you want to be, but there has to be a bit of resourcefulness, and there has to be a bit of a solicitation sometimes to make people aware that you want that opportunity. Well, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I really appreciate meeting you and look forward to working with you in the future.
Absolutely.
Thanks.